Hi, I'm Jamie Dawes from Dawes Accountants here. In this video, we're going to look at the age receivables reports and what you need to do to review those reports at the end of a period to ensure your bookkeeping is up to date and accurate. So the reports in question are age receivables, which is the report on your outstanding sales invoices at the end of any certain period. So to find that report, you go accounting and then reports. And then you'll see here that it's been favorited on this, we put a star on it, but if you scroll down to the main reports, if you haven't got it favorited already, you'll see the payables and receivables. So what I'd suggest you do is you do star them. So all of these top 4 reports are really useful reports. So I'd star all of these, the payables and the receivables ones. But what we're going to look at first is the age receivable summary. So you can, like as I suggested, you can set this report for any date and time. Obviously, most of the time you're going to be wanting to look at your up-to-date current age receivables. So hopefully you look at this, at month ends, weekends, however regularly you want to look at it. So what you can use the summary report for is just a quick scan view and an assessment of if you wanted to look into anything a bit further. So obviously, if invoices are getting, say, more than a month old, you might want to look into these and go, I want to chase these up for payment, and then look at them in a bit more detail. So if you had sort of invoices that you wanted to look at in a bit more detail to see why they were outstanding, or you might even look at this and go, actually, I don't think that is outstanding. I'm sure I got paid for that. So what you want to do then is go back and look at the detailed report version of this, if you think there's anything to look into. Obviously, if you look at this report at the end of your month and go, or end of the week and go, oh, I'm happy with it, that, yeah, I agree, all of those are outstanding, that's your check done and you can move on. If you need to look into things in a bit more detail, obviously you've just starred your age receivables detail report, or you can go back to reports and find it on that list like we looked at before. So if you look at the detailed report, of course, Xero's gone funny on me. Okay, we're back in action. We've got the report up. So this is the detailed version of the receivables report. So it breaks it down, per supplier and each individual invoice that's outstanding for payment. So if you, for instance, wanted to look into, you've got this one outstanding and you want to chase it up, you can go into that, click into each individual one, brings up the invoice. If you want to fire off an email just about that individual one, you chase it up. You could set yourself up, different email templates, because you could have like first chase template, second chase template, and just fire off an email. This one's outstanding, this one's overdue. You can change the wording if you've got an overdue one. Payment reminder. Here you can set up different email templates. If you're not sure how to do that, just give us a contact, and then you can send it off and chase up that one for payment. If you just want to send this person in general a chase, if you click to their contact, you've got options. You can send them a statement, and you just wanted to do it as the outstanding at a certain date. So you want to go to the day's date. It would include everything. You can fire them off a PDF email, an email reminder of the statement, or print a PDF email if you want to do it that way. While we're on the subject of chasing, it's obviously on your Xero. If you weren't aware, you can set up invoice reminders. So you can use this system to automate the chasing of debts. Obviously, it does rely on you keeping your Xero bang up to date, or else your customers are going to get emails when things are paid. So that's an option. You can set up your templates for reminders. Another option is to use an advanced version of this chasing procedure, another program that adds onto Xero called Sotargo. We can give you more information on that if you want it. Sotargo basically has more in-depth options, so you can send different emails at different stages of being outstanding. You can automate the sending of statements. You can also, nice touch of sending thank you emails when people pay you. You can set the reminders to only send for certain customers, so it's a lot more customizable than the basic Xero chasing. But obviously, going back to this report, and if you turns out when you looked into an invoice and you look at your bank statement, you go, oh, they did pay that one. So the reason that it could still be here as outstanding for payment is it could be so a couple of reasons, so a couple sort of things to look at. The best place to do is go to the contact itself and look at the activity. So what you really should see on a customer is just invoices being sent and then invoices being paid. Now, a highlight of an error is if you see a receive money transaction on a customer, on a contact. So what that would mean is when you were on your bank feed, instead of using find and match to allocate the money coming in to a customer invoice, there might have been an error made where it's accidentally you just created a transaction. So if you look at this one links up to an invoice nicely, but perhaps the amount didn't match up to an invoice nicely and you needed to use find and match, to find the invoices and then allocate it, to a couple of invoices. If that stage was skipped and it was just, if we cancel that, actually, if say that stage was skipped and you didn't allocate it and you just use the create money to put it to sales and skip allocating it to a sales invoice, that would create a duplicate transaction in effect, because the sale would have gone through as a bank transaction as well as an invoice, and it leaves the invoices as outstanding on your report. So that's a common one where people can make a mistake on the allocation of money coming into the bank, which can cause errors on your receivables report. The other thing is, if you go back to your contacts and look at your customers, you could have the instance where you've duplicated your sales invoices. So again, if you look at your history, you might see 2 invoices for the same amount, and you just need to void your duplicate invoice. So there's a couple of things where it can go wrong. Obviously, the other thing to keep note of is if you look at your report and you think, I'm never going to get paid for that and I want to write it off, you can create a credit note to bad debts on your credit note. So what you want to do is record your bad debts like that way and not just void the invoices. So if you create a credit note and allocate it to bad debts, it gives you a record of, obviously, in your accounts that you've had a bad debt that you've had to write off. Obviously, contact us if you're not sure on what to do in those instances. But the main thing is obviously just viewing that report to make sure it's accurate and you haven't got any debts to chase or errors to correct from the bookkeeping.